Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. So if you have been following me for very long, you know I have been on a pretty big stereo equipment journey. On my channel, I have a playlist full of the upgrades that I have made along the way. I started out with very humble equipment. When I started buying vinyl records, I had no idea how much I was truly going to enjoy listening to them. I had no idea that a little bit of an audiophile bug would bite me. So I have been replacing some of the equipment here and there, and I have a pretty good system now. I do think the weakest link in my chain is my preamp and my amp. I currently have the Emotiva BasX PT1 Preamp and an Emotiva BasX A-300 Amp. Emotiva is a great company, and for the money, they're hard to beat. But I think I'm at a point now where I need something a little more suited to the other equipment that I have. So McIntosh reached out to me and asked me if I would want to do a review for the McIntosh MAC7200. And it was perfect timing because it's exactly what I'm thinking I need to upgrade in my equipment. So of course I said yes. McIntosh is a classic stereo equipment company known for quality and beautiful equipment, in my opinion. I have been admiring them from afar, and it was a great opportunity to have the McIntosh MAC7200 receiver in my music room and be able to experience it for a couple months and then be able to review it. So yes, I'm very appreciative. Thank you to McIntosh for reaching out to me and giving me this opportunity. So for a couple of months now, I have had this MAC7200 receiver. I will leave in the link below the detailed specifications. It has more inputs and outputs than one would likely need, and this receiver can drive nearly any speaker made. I am mainly a 2-channel vinyl listener, and I also occasionally listen to streaming in high definition. So in this video, I want to talk to you about the differences, if any, I heard with this receiver with my vinyl records. I'm also going to talk about a blind test that I did testing out the DAC that is in the Mac versus the DAC that's in my Weem Ultra Streamer. And I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about a blind test that I did with the built-in Phono preamplifier that is in the MAC7200 versus the Phono preamplifier that I already have. So I went ahead and I got the box, opened it up. I was so excited. I was taken aback. I am a big fan of the looks of the McIntosh equipment. I love the cool blue VU meters. I love the iconic McIntosh font, and every little detail of this receiver is beautiful, including the MC on the cooling fin of the amplifier. It's just a gorgeous, iconic look that, like I said, I've always enjoyed. But beauty doesn't matter. What really matters is how this receiver was going to elevate my vinyl listening experience. So it was easy to set up, but the receiver's extremely heavy. So I went ahead and set up the Mac and immediately started grabbing my test records. These are records that, for so many different reasons, I think are some of the best sounding records in my collection. There are some special effects that I like to test out when I get new stereo equipment. So I want to start out with the first record, and this is a new one as far as testing goes, because it's a wonderful new release that I really love and I think is one of the best sounding records in my collection. And this is Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. This is the Mobile Fidelity One Step. And I want to talk to you about the song Rock With You. I thought when I put it on with the addition of the MAC7200, I was blown away by how large the soundstage was, how controlled the bass was. It was incredible. I thought Michael's vocals were so pure and pristine. I loved all of the details of the finger snaps, the hand claps, everything about the song Rock With You was truly amazing. And I got a really emotional reaction to the song She's Out of My Life. And I think you could probably listen to that song on a transistor radio and you're going to get an emotional impact because it's such a sad song of loss. But when I put it on here with the MAC7200, it was as if Michael was in the room and I could hear every crack in his voice, everything. The music was just floating in the air and it was just beautiful. And I got goosebumps all over my arms. It was a beautiful experience. And that's really, more than anything, what I'm looking for. I want to be able to listen to the music I love and hear it the best way possible, feel closer to the music and get an emotional reaction like that. So I thought that was fantastic. I also want to talk to you about another great sounding record that's in my collection. This is Ted Nugent, and this is the self-titled album, and this is from Analog Productions. It's a 45 RPM record. What I wanted to listen to, what's really great about the song Stranglehold, I always love to test out that song. There's some really cool panning effects that go back and forth from speaker to speaker. And there's also a really cool effect that rises from the floor and comes up in the air, kind of like, I don't know, steam from a sidewalk is the best way to describe it. I wanted to hear if, because I've listened to this record hundreds of times on my stereo equipment already, I wanted to know if having the MAC7200 would allow me to hear more detail. Would it really actually make more of an impact? And I was really surprised at, when I was listening to that panning effect, how much airiness was added in the details. It was incredible. And just the fullness and the volume of that music rising up in the air. Really cool effects. And I was blown away by it. I also loved the way Ted Nugent's guitar tone was. It was as if he was in the room playing that guitar solo. Truly tremendous. The next record I'm going to show you is not one that I think you're going to be surprised. It's in every dollar bin, but yet it is a great sounding record. And when I put this one on, something special clicked for me that I want to share with you. It's the Rolling Stones. It is the Miss You special disco version. Now, I think it's more of a rock and roll song, but it is a 12-inch single, 8 minutes long. And when I put that one on and I sat back down, I could not believe the bass line. It blew me away. And the drums were so precise. The Mick Jagger singing in the middle, just dead center. He sounded incredible. The guitars going back and forth were unbelievable. I've heard other people talk about when you have the right equipment that's compatible with each other, that a synergy takes place. And now I understand what they mean, because that receiver with my REL subwoofers, I have amazing REL subwoofers. I couldn't believe how incredible they sounded together, and also coming out of my MoFi Sourcepoint 10 speakers. There was just something really special going on. And I really enjoyed just that little record that you could find anywhere. It's inexpensive. And that's what was also very cool. You don't have to have audiophile records. You can have just your old originals, old reissues, anything. And I mean, for me, I heard the difference with all of my records. That one's just a good one to talk about because I was blown away by this synergy that was going on with my stereo equipment. I'm also a big jazz fan, so I love listening to my jazz records. And I went ahead and wanted to talk about Red Clay by Freddie Hubbard. This is a jazz classic. This is an original that I have, and I closed my eyes, and I was immediately blown away. One of the things that really stood out about this record was the imaging. I could just close my eyes and there was Joe Henderson on the saxophone over here to my left. Freddie Hubbard on the trumpet, amazing. Dead center, Herbie Hancock. The keyboard sounded so natural. The Ron Carter, the bass. The bass with this MAC 7200 blows me away. So controlled, so tight. It's really amazing. And also Lenny White playing the drums. It sounded so beautiful that it was if they were in the room performing. You know, I could have been in a club somewhere. Such an enjoyable experience. So without a doubt, the MAC 7200 made my vinyl listening experience incredible. It really elevated my experience, and I really loved having it in my room. So now I want to also talk to you about streaming. So I have a Weem Ultra Streamer, and I wanted to compare the DAC in it versus the DAC in the McIntosh 7200 receiver. So I did a blind test. I chose 5 songs that I thought were very different from each other, but random, just things I wanted to hear. And my husband came in, he played those songs for me. I had no idea which DAC I was listening to. 3 out of the 5 times I chose the McIntosh MAC 7200, and it wasn't even close. They won big time for those 3 songs. The other 2 songs were a lot more close, and there was maybe a nuance or something else that made me decide that the Weem Ultra deck would win that one. The Weem Ultra Streamer, I should say. You know, I think that the McIntosh DAC is better overall. But I was surprised it didn't win all 5. I thought it would run away with the comparisons. There is a DA2 you can purchase separately for this MAC 7200. It is an additional $1,000 upgrade. So in a perfect world, this MAC 7200 is $8,000. It would be great if McIntosh's latest technology was included. For me, I don't stream enough, and I thought the McIntosh 7200 outperformed the DAC that was in the Weem Ultra Streamer. So it's not that important to me to spend that extra $1,000, but if you stream a lot, that's something you will want to consider. Again, in a perfect world, it would already be included in this receiver, and I have no doubt that the DA2 would outperform my Weem Ultra Streamer. I also want to talk to you about the blind test that I did with the Phono preamplifier. There's a built-in Phono preamplifier in the MAC 7200 versus what I already have. I already have a Rega Aria MK3 Phono preamplifier with a Quadratic audio step-up transformer. The total cost of those 2 pieces of equipment is $3,500, and I'm glad I already have them. They did best the Phono preamplifier that was in the MAC 7200, but the MAC 7200 did an extremely respectable job and sounded great too. I'm glad I already have what I have, but I felt like the McIntosh MAC 7200 did a great job. So overall, I really love this receiver. The MAC 7200 is a wonderful piece of stereo equipment, and I enjoyed the listening experience of my vinyl records. It made a tremendous difference. Now, when you consider that what I have currently with the Emotiva equipment, you can buy the preamp and the amp for under $1,000. The McIntosh MAC 7200 is $8,000, and if you want that DA2 upgrade, it's an additional $1,000. Is it that much better for the money? My ears and my heart will tell you yes, because I experienced so much with this. It really elevated the pleasure I get in music listening. You know, of course, everybody's finances are different, and that's another story. You're probably wondering, well, Melinda, if you're going to be in the market for this, why don't you go ahead and buy the MAC7200? And that is a good question. And I will tell you, it is, as of right now, a contender, a top contender. I still need to save a little bit more money, and I really like this. It's a solid state receiver. I would like to experience tube amps and maybe even hybrid amps before making a decision. This is a big decision. It's going to be a costly decision. I want to know how everything sounds before I make that decision. So hopefully in the future, I will be able to decide between the solid state receiver, a tube amp, maybe a hybrid amp. I want to experience everything before I decide. But I am so grateful to McIntosh for giving me this experience. The MAC7200 is an amazing piece of equipment, and I really enjoyed it. So thanks again to McIntosh. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Most importantly, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.